Hey, this is Glendon with the Monday Morning Pep Talk. The title of this segment is Easier to Achieve the Unknown Than the Known. When I first got in the storage auction business, I received all types of advice on what I should or what I shouldn't do. And after a few months of going through the torture of being initiated as a storage auction hound, people started to talk to me. And this one old timer took me aside and we even went to lunch and he was just telling me, he's like, really? You should keep this as a part-time endeavor. I see that you're pretty aggressive. You're buying a lot of units. Don't try to turn this into a full-time income. He said, I've tried time and time again, and it just broke my heart. And I was like, well, that's my intention. Thanks for looking out for me, but that's what I plan on doing. And he said, it just can't be done. It's too random. You never know. And after I talked to him, a few things became very clear. One of the reasons that he noticed that I bought a lot of units was I was buying far more than he was. That's one of the things that stood out. And also, I had a little bit of swagger about myself, a little extra confidence, because when you're in sales, you have to be. No one's going to buy from a wimpy salesman. It's just not going to happen. Pity sales don't happen that often. And we talked, and he told me about things that he had did in his business, and some of that stuff I knew immediately just wasn't going to work. But I had an advantage over him. I worked for some very nice companies that spent a lot of money sending me to webinars, sending me to workshops, trade shows. And I remember one company in particular, I was an exhibitor at a trade show like 6 times. And if you've ever been an exhibitor, it's a lot of freaking work because you have to be up and on for each and every trade show person that comes by your booth to give them your pitch, to let them know about your company. And this is a long day because you're there before everyone else comes and you're there after the show is over. And it just gave me a different set of skill sets. But I still didn't really know about the storage auction business because it was so esoteric. There were so many things that I didn't know, but it was exciting. And I just made a decision that I was going to give it a try. And that's one of the things. I didn't know how this stuff was going to turn out. I had no clue. But one of the reasons that made things so daunting in the beginning actually was a benefit. When I set out, because I'm a nerd and I do my research, there wasn't a lot of research. There wasn't, the books that are online now, they didn't exist. There was nothing about storage auctions except this one old post written by a guy named Bill up in the mountains. That was it. So there was totally uncharted waters for me, and those in the know kept that information really close to the vest. So essentially, what I thought was a negative was actually a benefit. And that's what I'm telling you. When you go after something that's undefined, no one did it before you did it, it's actually easier to do the unknown than the known. When the Wright brothers set out to do the airplane, people laughed at them. When the Russians made the rocket, some guy laughed at him. When Steve Jobs said, hey, we're going to create this computer system, people laughed at him, and a lot of times Apple almost went under. So when you're doing this stuff, it's a dual-edged sword. There's a certain level of excitement, energy, and joy in pursuing the unknown. And one of the reasons when you pursue something that's known, the field is so crowded. It's like 285 at 5:30 p.m. It's just gridlock. Everybody's on the same path. And I'm going to tell you, I've said it in one video before and I'm going to say it again. Competition only exists when there's a lot of people doing the same thing. If you're doing something that no one else ever did before, or you doing what's known in a manner that's different than what others are doing, you don't have any competition. You don't. Because I'm telling you, one of the things that I learned from my webinar is that people need to be conditioned for success. We're already conditioned for mediocrity, and we're actually conditioned for perpetual failure. And what happens is you'll start off, then you'll stop. Then you'll start off, then you'll stop. Because that immediate gratification thing is so prevalent in our society. I even just stopped answering comments from people who are like, They just want a lot of something for nothing. It doesn't make any sense. It just really doesn't. And that's one of the things that will kill you in this business. Sometimes you will work your ass off, and I'll tell you, sometimes you'll have a losing week. It's going to happen. I never had a losing month. I've had losing weeks, but I never had a losing month. And really, toward the end of my career, I didn't even have losing weeks. It's just a matter of setting up your system. Because there's so many things that you can do to be successful. It's just a matter of how much skin do you want to put in the game? Because that is an element of risk. And that's what creates the problem. Because one of the benefits of doing the unknown, which many people look as a side effect or an adverse or a downside, is you don't know what's going to happen. People are looking for the sure thing. There is no such thing as the sure thing. The only sure thing is constant effort every day. If you can get that down, you'll be okay. But if you're just hoping for a cookie cutter method to being successful, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Even with a franchise, there are some franchisees that do wonderfully well, and there's other ones that go out of business within a year or two with the same level of instruction. It all comes back to the person, whether you're willing to give to get what you want. It's that simple. And when you also go for the unknown, it's an exhilarating, wonderful moment. Essentially, you're picking up a machete and you are cutting your own path. One of the biggest businesses in recent years is cupcakes. And you think about it. Do you need a cupcake? No, but you want a cupcake. And these cupcakes aren't cheap. There's like 3 stores real close to where I live, and they're always doing a great business. It's like someone said, I'm going to make cupcakes special. Cupcakes have been around forever. But one person said, hey, I'm going to do something different. I'm going to snatch it up. I'm going to create a bar. I'm going to sell a sizzle on this cupcake. Because what is a cupcake? It's a piece of cake with some frosting on it. But that's not what they're selling. They're selling the experience. That's what they're selling, and it's one of the most profitable businesses of recent years, because I did a little research, because I have a friend who was thinking about getting into it, and I said, jump at it. Go for it, because right now it's hot. You just got to put your own twist on it. But that's an example of taking something that's known and doing the unknown with it. There's so many ways that you can do in your life things that will enrich it. It's just getting rid of that fear. Because I have another video, it's called A Bag of Fear. I'll put a link up. But that's one of the things. So don't be afraid to go after the unknown. Because it's easier. It's way easier. And another reason going after the unknown versus the known is when you have the audacity to put that big ass goal on a piece of paper, you scare yourself. Because you look at that number and you're like, whoa, you look at that goal of doing this or that, and it just takes you to a different place, and that's a scary moment, but it's exhilaration. And it's that energy, that level of commitment and excitement which gives you the gas to go over those rough spots. But when you set a goal really low, I mean, it's just right here, you don't give yourself any energy. That's not putting a lot of gas in your tank. So you're making $1,000 a week and you want to make $1,100. That's really not going to motivate you to really burn all. But if you say, hey, I want to make $2,000, double your income, you may not get to the $2,000, but you'll get to $1,500, $1,600, $1,700, $1,800, or you may go past the $2,000 because that's exciting. Because you need to have energy and enthusiasm to really prep up your goals. It's just not, if you got mediocre goals, you're going to get mediocre results. I'm telling you, that is the deal. Aim freaking high. All right. Hopefully you were energized. I got energized because when I say energy and enthusiasm, I get all excited. Well, that's your Monday morning pep talk. Take from it what you will, and you have a great week.